All right, Canelo Alvarez may have signed with the PBC. Eyes Caleb Plant fight next, man, and I'm going to tell you right now, DAZN and Matchroom have begun packing their bags. They will not be around, seriously, for much, much longer. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So we've been waiting to do this video for a while, maybe about 2 years. Everybody pretty much knew that once DAZN said they were coming to the United States and they had this $1 billion to spend, they were going to take over all Al Heyman's fighters, and we're taking over the U.S. Remember the great Atlantic takeover, transatlantic takeover, right? Remember that? When Eddie Hearn used those words, the transatlantic trade, and everybody got all mad and was like, what? Dude, that's like this you can't say that. That's like the transatlantic slave trade. What do you mean? You're a boxer. Your daddy's talking about slave trades over there. Man, we used to sign people to slave contracts. That's what he said about Dillian White, right? And only to find out that they brought that to the United States with them. And they, in their first and only gigantic signing, they actually gave the guy a slave contract. Who would have known that the guy that called the deal a transatlantic deal, the dude whose daddy bragged to Dillian White about having Dillian used to be that we would have these slave contracts, and now I've got to call you sir. Those type of dudes. How amazing is it, and how surprising is it that they will try that in the United States when they come here, and they pulled it off with Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo. But Canelo, little too big to hold down like that because so many people are watching him. They had to let him up out of there. However, now people see what happened. Now people see how they do business. So do not expect big money fighters to go over there because they already know that's how they do business. If they will cheat Canelo Alvarez cheat Canelo Alvarez on that deal, what are they going to do to little old me? You know what they're going to do. They're going to ball you up, wrap you up, and put you in your pocket because you ain't that big. And they may try to sell you the idea on you being big eventually, but you will never get big on DAZN, period. Okay? They don't have no subscribers. Ain't going to work. So people ain't going to be signing over there with DAZN, and it is going to go boop, 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 and more likely all you're going to see for the subscriptions that you have are the fighters that they currently have in the United States while they wean them off, and then eventually we're going to get DAZN for probably $2 a month like everybody else in the world gets it, and we will those other international places, and their focus is not going to be on the United States, and that's just what it is. Now, what does that mean for boxing? It means that the PBC is going to be running boxing pretty much. With Canelo over there, they run boxing, and that's just what it is. There is no more lies that ESPN can tell about them having the best roster and them having all the best fighters and all of that nonsense. They're going to have to find some way to take Canelo Alvarez completely off the pound-for-pound list, right? And, well, you know, upon reflection, his past accomplishments were not quite what we thought they were at the time because of the future records of those opponents. So we have to demote Canelo to the number 9 pound-for-pound list. And as soon as he goes the distance again, we shall be removing him because it is against our policy to have Al Heyman fighters on this list. So what you're going to do now, the Canelo is over there. And if Terrence Crawford goes over there, what you're going to do then? Right? It's just, I know what they're going to do. They're going to keep making up the same nonsense stories that some 104-pound dude from Kazakhstan is really the greatest fighter in the world, and they're going to continue to try to push him. We understand that. However, the more you try to do that phoniness and give us that phoniness, the people that are really watching boxing and really enjoying the sport of boxing on a daily basis will know where the best fighters are, which is why, despite all the nonsense you guys talk and your pound-for-pound list and all that nonsense, why Gervonta Davis, without any of that, can still do better pay-per-view sales than Gennady Golovkin has ever done on his own, or Terrence Crawford has done on his own, or what Lomachenko would do if you put him on pay-per-view. You think that Lomachenko Teofimo Lopez at $75 was going to sell 250,000 pay-per-views? I don't think so, because if they did believe that they would have put it on there. They would have put it on there. But they didn't put it on there because they don't believe that it has that much clout, and they shouldn't, because they're not selling American fighters, right? They're not selling Mexican fighters. Well, they will sell Mexican fighters, but they're not selling American fighters. And there's a border between Mexico and another country right to the north of it called the United States, right? So technically speaking, Mexicans are Americans because we are in the United States of America. This is North America. They live in North America. Technically speaking, they're Americans. Americans. Canadians, technically speaking, they're in the Americas, right? So as long as people are fighting on this continent, hey, man, they can drive to see each other. They've got relatives and people that are going up and down in those areas, and it would be good to sell fights to them. Trying to sell fights to people that don't buy them because they're way off in Kazakhstan or Ukraine or something like that just doesn't make any sense, and that's why Top Rank is not doing very well, because they refuse to push forward American fighters. But now that Canelo has shifted over to the PBC, what I am hoping for is that they do get to the point where they have a virtual monopoly over the sport of boxing, because that's the only thing that's going to save it. Until one entity has control over the sport of boxing, that's when you might be able to see some real fights being made, because they have everybody. And they don't have to worry about playing games with, oh, well, maybe my guy's real opponent might want to not fight for the WBO. He might want to fight for the IBF. And, they're not going to. No, because all the money will be in one spot, right? Fox makes sense to me because Fox is it's a free network. It's perfect. Everybody can get any fight that happens on Fox that's not pay-per-view. Any one of them. And they promote those fights at football games. So why wouldn't Canelo Alvarez be on Fox? Think about Canelo Alvarez as they say he might fight Plant. Think about Caleb Plant, Canelo Alvarez on Fox. On regular Fox for regular people to see. What that would do for the sport of boxing. It would do amazing amount for the sport of boxing because so many people would watch it. But how many people have been watching Canelo Alvarez when Canelo Alvarez was on DAZN? Very few. How many people are watching Ryan Garcia fight on DAZN? Very, very few. DAZN does not have the ability to grow fighters. They have the ability to take a big fighter and then sell sell subscriptions off of the people that already know that fighter. But do they have the ability to build a Ryan Garcia? No, they do not. The only way you're going to see Ryan Garcia fights most people is the highlights on YouTube. That's it. It's not going to be anything greater than that for most people because they don't have DAZN. And it's a one-off thing that just isn't going to work, and everybody knew it wasn't going to work from the beginning. Knew it wasn't going to work from the beginning, and it has not worked from the beginning. So what's going to happen moving forward with these guys? In my opinion, you're going to have three things going on in boxing maybe a year from now. I believe that DAZN is going to pull out slowly. Not in some way where it's going to be like a big announcement. DAZN has decided to pull out. No, it's not going to be like that. It's going to be like the first step. We cannot continue to pay Canelo $360 million. Okay, because we're just throwing it in the toilet. Sorry, Skipper. What's his last name? Skipper, whatever the guy is from ESPN. The guys over there in the UK are like, sorry, brother. We can't keep spending this money, brother. Sorry, bruv. They're not going to do it, man. They're going to be like $360 million for what? We're not getting anything on this. We'd be better growing our application by having Thai matches in what do you call it? Thai boxing? What is it? I always forget the name of it. Yeah, but have kickboxing tournaments over there in Thailand. And we can charge them $2 because they don't already have networks to show it to them. Over here in the U.S., everything that DAZN is giving people in the U.S., they were already getting from somebody else. So why would they be excited about it? You're not getting them anything new. Even the UK fights, that's nothing new for me. I've just had illegal streams where the the picture might not have been as clear. But dude, they're trash fights that I fall asleep on anyway, and I'm really just trying to hoping something can happen before I fall to sleep, because I do not know who Ted Cheeseman and Ed Waffleton is. Just don't know him. Like boxing, but don't care about him. That's what DAZN is, man. And now that Canelo left, there's not going to be much more of it, because Gennady Golovkin is going to leave. Demetrius Andrade is going to leave. They probably already want Demetrius Andrade to leave. If you listen to the way they cover Devin Haney, it sounds like they want Devin Haney to leave. It's just silly over there. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.